Hi everyone. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to our fourth episode about business sustainability. And let me hope you are all fine. Today we are going to discuss about execution of a business strategy. As usual, my name is Bernard Osron. I'm a chemical engineer, an entrepreneur, and a businessman. I'm the founder and managing director of Apple Vision Limited. Apple Vision Limited is a multidisciplinary consulting and engineering company registered in Uganda. We are a group of professionals from different disciplines, and we create innovative services integrated from end to end to ensure sustainability. Our purpose is to serve and promote sustainable development in all projects that we do and across all the communities where we operate. We welcome partners who have the same vision like us, and if you'd want to know more about us and how you can partner with us, please visit our website at www.applevisionltd.com. And if you have not yet subscribed to our channels, I request you to do so that you keep updated. Today, as I've said, I'm going to discuss about execution of a business strategy. In 2015, the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development was enacted. This agenda defines human life to be dependent on the interactions between different elements. According to this agenda, the quality of human life is actually the intersection between three key elements. Element 1 is the social life. Element 2 is the economic life. And the element 3 is about the environment where human beings live. Apparently, the economic life is under threat because of the pandemic and other unavoidable situations. As we speak, the production and distribution of services and goods has been threatened. Globally, the economy is not doing well. Many businesses are not able to meet their goals because of the restrictions brought forth because of the pandemic. In fact, most organizations have shut down. Other organizations are considering to sell their assets in order to finance the debts and other financial obligations that they have. This is very unfortunate from a business perspective because assets are resources that a business can use to create future economic value. So, because of the turbulences that are occurring in the business environment, the management of Apple Vision Limited decided to launch public presentations about business sustainability, because it was observed that it is through cultivating a sustainable business that a given business can thrive in a very dynamic environment like that of today. So far, we have published 3 episodes about business sustainability. The first episode was about the business environment, where we understood what constitutes a business environment and why management of organizations need to take it serious. In our second episode, we talked about business sustainability as the solution to thriving in such a dynamic business environment. In our third episode, we discussed strategy, a business strategy. We said that when it comes to a business strategy, an organization will know the ultimate intentions, the possible courses of action to undertake, and the resources that the organization needs to meet its vision. So up to that, we were able to know that if you are a business, then you need to understand the kind of environment that you're operating in. And you need to know that to operate in such an environment, you need at least to be able to make an operational profit for it to remain sustainable. Besides making an operational profit, you shouldn't breach any regulatory requirement, and you should balance the interests of all key stakeholders. And we were able to note that you need a strategy for achieving all these goals. Now, today we are going to discuss about strategy execution, because having a strategy in place does not guarantee you any success. Success is entirely an outcome of how well you have executed your strategy. So, I want you to pay attention as we discuss strategy execution. It is important to note that every organization is meant to create value. Value for its customers, value for its shareholders, and value for all other key stakeholders. Unlike in traditional organizations where the sole purpose was to create value for the shareholder, it is quite different today that modern organizations must balance the interests of all key stakeholders. Because if you're an organization and you concentrate on creating wealth for your shareholders while ignoring the interests of your customers, then you're bound to fail, because your customers buy the goods or services that you offer, that in turn brings that value that is meant for your shareholders. Now, in creating value, every organization has normal operations that it executes in order to create that value. For instance, in manufacturing, in order to create value for your customer, then you need a production department, quality assurance department, the finance department, the human resource department, the marketing department, with various operations that eventually lead to creation of value. So what I want to make you clear of is that while you have these normal operations that actually create value for your customer or stakeholders, the most important ingredient is how you execute your strategy besides these operations. What matters is the outcome of your strategy, not the quality of the strategy. I hope the audience is able to distinguish between the two things. First, you need a strategy. However, having a strategy, even though it's of very high quality, it does not guarantee you any form of success. Success is a direct outcome of how well you have executed your strategy, besides the normal operations of your business. So in this episode, I want to clarify on the fact that today, for any business to thrive, there must be projects that are done besides the normal operations of your business. These projects are normally referred to as continuous improvement projects. They are very important in ensuring that your organization meets the objectives and the goals. Ask yourself a simple question. Why is it so that your organization is considering to shut down? And yet some other organizations are reporting profits in their financial statements. And yet we have strategies in place. Have you thought about that? For you, the CEO, the managing director, or the manager of any department of your organization. Have you looked at that? Why do you think your organization is struggling to make a profit? Your organization is reporting losses every day, every year. You're reporting losses. You've never paid, or you're not paying out dividends to your shareholders. Well, we have strategies in place, you have adopted strategies, but why is it so that you're not getting the outcomes that you've predetermined? So the difference is around strategy execution, how you execute your strategy. So I want to take this opportunity to bring forth an understanding of the key ingredients that you must emphasize during strategy execution. As I've said that, besides your normal operations, you need to implement continuous improvement projects that are aligned to your overall objective, to your overall vision of the company. Okay? Now, the first ingredient that I want to talk about is called ideation. An idea. Now, this ingredient is very important because it looks at three key things about your organization. It looks at the purpose of your organization. Why do you exist as an organization? In addition, the ingredient about ideation also emphasizes your identity. How do you appear in the market? What is your image? Your brand characteristics? How are you described out there? How do you appear before your customers? Then the other important thing is your vision. What is your long-term intention? Today I want to assure you that most struggling organizations are concentrating on short-term benefits at the expense of long-term gains. This is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. You should instead focus on your long-term intention. Then you break down the long-term intention into short-term goals, which, if aggregated, can lead to your long-term intention. Organizations should stop focusing on short-term wins at the expense of long-term goals. So, the first ingredient about the continuous improvement projects that you need to institute at the organization is about ideation, having that idea which encompasses those three items. Item about your identity, about your long-term goal, and about your purpose. When you have all these clear, then item number 2 is very important, which is about the nature of your internal environment. In our first episode, when we talked about business environment, we saw two categories. We talked about the internal environment and we talked about the external environment. Now, when it comes to strategy execution, you have to implement continuous improvement projects. Now, these continuous improvement projects have key ingredients that you must emphasize if you are to succeed. And the ingredient number 2 is about the nature of your internal environment. The nature of your internal environment also looks at 3 key items. It looks at your strategy that you have already put in place. Now it looks at the culture of your organization. You look at what binds you together. What do you consider as core values for your organization? Do employees buy in? Are they part of the system? To what extent are they involved in making decisions? Then the other ingredient is about the structure of the organization. The relationship between different organizations, departments or functions of the organization. Does it promote proper strategy execution? How is the communication? Who reports to the other? And who is supposed to report on what? That flow of information is very important. So, element number 2 requires you to properly align the culture and the structure of the organization to the strategy. You have to look at the competence of your personnel in key positions of the organization. Then the third ingredient about continuous improvement projects is the vision. This is very important in that without the vision, you are simply basing on luck, and you cannot succeed basing on luck. Proper definition of your vision is critical because it is what gives you the direction of executing your strategy. The concept of success factors is pertinent at this level. Because when you have your vision, it is something which is long term. Vision describes your future desired position. But what is critical here is how well you have broken down that vision into short-term wins. What I would call success factors. You have to clearly define the success factors at this level, because this is what constitutes action items. So the vision, you have to look at 3 key issues. Your short-term goals, how you're going to measure them. Without the dimension of measurement, then you can't quantify your success. It will become hard for your organization to know how far it has gone in terms of success or failure. So it is very important to establish measures for your success factors. This will help you to quantify your performance. So it looks at how well you've designed your short-term goals, the success factors you've considered, how you're going to measure the performance, and whether it is in compliance with the strategy that you have already designed. So if you are a CEO, a COO, or a manager, then your work is beyond sitting in that office with AC. You have to think. You have to be creative. And you, above all, you must be engaging. Then the third ingredient about continuous improvement project is what we call engagement. Now at this point is you have to engage the strategy with a portfolio of projects that you have selected. What I want to emphasize here is that proper selection of the continuous improvement projects is very crucial. How you have selected your continuous improvement projects and how you align these projects to your strategy is very important, because any discrepancy results to failure. So what will happen is that you will have a portfolio of projects. Now you have to evaluate these projects in terms of cost-benefit scenarios, and you look at which project should be prioritized, because remember, each of these projects require resources, and resources by nature, they are scarce. So you need to properly allocate resources to projects which will have a bigger impact. So these continuous projects can fall in three categories. Can be about innovation, that is if you're interested in coming up with new products or new services for your organization. It can be about performance. Performance, in that case, you can look at how you can improve on the efficiency of, for instance, your operations. If you're in manufacturing, you can look at overall equipment effectiveness, reduction in defects. You can look at energy utilization, manpower capacity, utilization of your plant. There are many projects that you can look at, including finance, debt recovery. Many companies are struggling to recover debts from their debtors. So it is very pertinent. Or you can as well look at business growth. So when you're selecting projects, you have to look at the overall impact of this project to your organization and in respect to your long-term objective. Then the other ingredient about continuous improvement project is we have talked about ideation, we have talked about nature of your internal organization, you have talked about vision, we have talked about engagement. Then the other one is about how well you align the projects, the portfolio, and the programs. Today, as we speak, there are many organizations that have adopted Operation Excellence programs like Lean Six Sigma. You can talk in terms of quality management, those quality management systems. So how well you align your improvement programs and the projects, and now the portfolio of projects that you have, how you have prioritized them, is also very important. So you have to be in a position to synthesize. You should be able to synthesize different aspects that will aid you in proper alignment of your programs, projects, and the portfolios. Then the last ingredient about continuous improvement project is the transition. Now, one thing I want to acknowledge is that many organizations that have adopted these continuous improvement programs have succeeded and testified of the benefits, such as increased profit margins, increased efficiency, reduction in operational costs, to mention but a few. But on the other hand, it's a bit hard to sustain these gains. So this last ingredient is about transitioning these gains into your operations. Mark you, at the beginning I said that every organization has normal operations that it executes to create value. And if you want to succeed in the current turbulent environment, then besides these normal operations, you have to institute continuous improvement projects. Now, these continuous improvement projects create benefits when successfully executed. So, when it comes to these benefits, you have to transition these benefits into the normal operation to become part of the system. So there will be change in the way you work. That's where issues arise from. How to ensure sustainability of these gains is key. However, it is simple if you're well planned and you know what you're aiming at. So, as I conclude this episode, I want to make it clear to you is that if you're a CEO, a potential entrepreneur, a manager, or you're serving in any of the capacities, then you should think about your business as a going concern. A business that should operate this year, next year, continuously. And you should consider instituting continuous improvement projects. Because one thing that you must know is there is always a better way of doing things. And it's because of that submission that this world has been able to evolve from bad to better, and possibly we are looking forward to best way of performance. Well, if this video has been good and you have piqued interest, simply subscribe. You can share with us, you can send me a text or an email, visit our website for more discussion. Our website is www.applevisionltd.com. We welcome partners and we welcome those with similar ambitions like us, and we expect you to change the way you do things if you are to thrive in the current business environment. Think green, go green. Excellence above world class. I remain Bernard Osron, the founder and managing director of Apple Vision Limited. Thank you.